it's a question of how do I know when pupils are getting things wrong or when people feel the need to get things right. And I think feedback is something that's really important for everybody, for both ways. So people need to know when they get things wrong, and people really need to know when they get things right too, to really boost their confidence to go forward with their learning. So if they're getting things right, perfect, we need to let them know straight away. And pupils that may be getting things wrong, that's where you have to kind of make a judgment call on who you have in that particular classroom, I think. I know that if I've got quite advanced students, some of them might like the idea of trying to work out where they've gone wrong for themselves, and they really do. They figure it out for themselves, they try their best, and they come and ask a question and say, sir, is this correct because of this, this and this? And then I will say, yeah, fantastic, you've got the correct principles. Whereas pupils that may be a little bit less strong in their science, they might find it a case of they need some immediate feedback. They want to know that they're getting things right before they move on to the next task, and that's equally as valid. But I think the most important thing is that feedback is always needed and it's always required across the board. I know whole class feedback is needed, usually from an AFL that I've done. So something like, if I'm in a lesson, sometimes I use whiteboards, and once that whiteboard goes up and I see 3 pupils don't quite understand a particular topic, and they've got the answer incorrect from my whiteboarding question, then I know that I'm going to give some whole class feedback and make sure that pupils understand their whole that topic. I think it's quite key. I quite like using 3 pupils because I know that if one of the pupils has misunderstood it, another pupil's misunderstood it, then the likelihood is somebody else in the room has misunderstood things, and they may have just copied from another student, or they may have just managed to get the answer correct randomly out of a random guess. So I like to go back after that and reteach it, show them where they've gone wrong, show them where they went right, and then we can carry on with the lesson. In terms of assessments and moving on to next topics, that's a different story, because usually what we do is an assessment, a written assessment, and we kind of split all the questions up and essentially figure out where pupils have gone wrong in each question. That's, again, usually once we've done that, we give the pupils back their marks. They do a bit of individual feedback, and then we take them in, and then if we feel like they haven't really improved, or if we feel like they haven't really misunderstood the question, then we'll do some whole class feedback, do some whole class relearning, essentially reteaching that particular topic on that particular exam question. Just based on a sample of maybe 10 papers. So if 10 students haven't done really well in a particular question, then we'll make sure that we've retaught it in a lesson. That could be in the form of actually reteaching the whole thing, or it could be in the form of just, okay, I'm going to teach this little part, we're going to do 5 questions, I'll finish off with an exam question, and then we'll move on with the rest of the lesson, or we'll move on with the rest of our learning, or the rest of our scheme of work. So in our school, we've got a spreadsheet that's really good. It gives us the opportunity to kind of write the individuals' names into it, and then we base all of our feedback from an exam question sheet, or an exam that the pupils have given recently and given us back, and we've marked it. So once we've marked it, we put all the questions into the spreadsheet as well, and then it automatically kind of populates where the pupils have gone wrong, which individual pupil has gone wrong in their exam paper. And we give that to the students via Google Classroom,